Hey everybody, this is Killing the Cabal, and today I'm doing a video. It's going to be done on my tablet, so there's going to be some zooming in and out, so it's a little bit different than maybe some of the other videos that you've watched where it's done on a computer or a desktop or a laptop where it's clicking on things, and this is just going to be kind of like zooming in and out. So it's going to be a little different, but hopefully you can follow along. And the video that I'm doing today is all about occult symbolism. This video is going to be a part one of the occult symbolism that's mentioned in the QAnon drops, and it's going to concentrate on the Y head, or what I think is the Y represents as yak, so yak head. And the first thing I'm going to do is read this Q drop. Now, if you don't know who QAnon is, then you want to, do your research and find out who that is. I would recommend going to Praying Medic. He does a great political analysis of Q's drops, and you can find him on Twitter. You can find him on YouTube, and also, he has a beginners for QAnon video, so I'd recommend watching that. Another person to follow would be Lisa Mae Crowley on Twitter, and then another person would be Jordan Sather at Destroying the Illusion. He is on Twitter, he has a website, and he also has a YouTube channel that I actually watch. And I do follow both Lisa Mae Crowley on Twitter, and I follow Praying Medic, and I watch Praying Medic's videos because he does such a great job. And so does Jordan Sather. Now, this is more concentrating on some of the older drops that Q has done. You can see that this drop was done on November 21st, 2017, so last year around this time. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I personally was waiting for someone to do a video on this information. And when nobody did it, I just decided to take the initiative and do it myself. So if you're not familiar with Q, you want to check that out. You may just be watching this video because you're just interested in occult symbolism. Maybe you are familiar with the Cabal and you want to understand a little bit more about what's going on with them. So this is probably going to be new information to you. Maybe some of it won't be, but this is most of what I do is original research, almost all of it. And some of it I need to just pull from other people for illustration purposes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this Q drop, and then I'm going to show you guys some different pictures that I pulled from the internet. And the pictures that I'm going to show you are going to be some of the symbolism, the Y head symbolism that I've found, whether it's, presented in clothing or jewelry or, movies or TV shows, because the Cabal and Satanists, they throw their symbolism into a lot of different things out in the public, out in the open. So I've been able to really gather up a lot of research. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this, this Q drop. It says, their need for symbolism will be their downfall. Follow the owl and Y head around the world. Identify and list. They don't hide it. They don't fear you. You are sheep to them. You are feeders, Godfather 3. So when I break down this Q drop, I initially what I noticed was, their symbolism, their need for symbolism will be their downfall. Follow the owl and Y head around the world. So what I did was I started to, like it says, I started to identify and list wherever I would see the owl or the Y head used. And it's not just in the United States where this, a lot of the world's creative entertainment comes from Hollywood, but there's other countries, there's other institutions that have some of this symbolism that you can find. It's some of it is at the Vatican, some of it is at different palaces around the world and different countries. So the royals are really heavily involved in this stuff. A lot of the elites, like the Rothschilds, the Soroses, the Rockefellers, the House of Saud, A lot of those families are involved in this stuff too. And the reason why Q is saying that their need for symbolism will be their downfall is because they put it out there in the open for everyone to see. And one of the reasons why they do that is, and I know it sounds crazy, and you know what, if you're not religious, this whole concept will really elude you. But that's okay. But one of the reasons why they put their symbolism out there is because they believe it gives them more power. So in these different cults, whether you believe it or not, they believe it, okay? So we may not believe that, putting different symbols and icons and things like that out in the open, we may not believe that that's going to do anything for us or give us any type of power or anything. But the people that belong to these different cults, they do believe that. So because they believe that, they've been doing that for a number of years. And I don't just mean within the last, 20, 30, 40 years. I mean for a long time, a really long time. But with the with all of the entertainment and TV and movies and awards shows and all this stuff, with the majority of the people in the world watching things like that, that's a great opportunity for the cabal to start to really show off their symbolism even more. And they took advantage of that because they never thought that the average person would ever know what they were doing or talking about or what their symbolism even meant. They didn't even think that we would know to look for it. So because they've been doing that and they never thought that we would ever be looking for it or at it, even though it's right in front of our face, they've just been very, blatant about showing it. So they don't hide it. They don't fear us, and they think that we're sheep and we're feeders. Excuse me. So, you can probably understand most of that there. They don't fear us. They're the 1%ers. They have, the best of the best. They have the best healthcare that we could only dream of. They have houses that are extremely secure, and these people, we don't even know who they are. The majority of the people that are running the world, the 1%ers, they use people in entertainment and in politics to carry out a lot of their agenda and to put out the occult symbolism, but they themselves, behind closed doors, you don't know who they are. You'll never know their names or what they look like. And those people do not fear us. And actually, up until recently, even the people that they were using, like some of the politicians and some of the celebrities, even those people didn't really fear us or have any fear of getting caught because they felt that they were protected by the 1%ers. And I think now a lot of that has changed because so many people are waking up. So they are running scared, I believe. And by us doing the research and understanding who they are and what they're about, it's going to really the walls are really going to start to close in on all these people, and they're really going to start to get exposed. And maybe eventually we will know these 1%ers' names because of what we are doing collectively. So then it says Godfather 3. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and zoom out. I'm going to go into my web browser here. And what I did when I saw the Godfather 3 in the Q drop, I went ahead and I looked up the plot of Godfather 3, and something that I noticed about the plot, I haven't seen this movie. I had to look up what it was all about and what the movie was based on. So one of the storylines in this, I think the most important storyline is, okay, I'm going to read this here. It says, knowing that Archbishop Gilday, head of the Vatican Bank, has accumulated a massive deficit, Michael, and I think that's Michael Corleone or something like that, because like I said, I've never seen this movie. Michael offers the bank, which is the Vatican Bank, $600 million in exchange for shares in International Immobilier, an international real estate company that would make him its largest single shareholder with 6 seats on the company's 13-member board. He makes a tender offer to buy the Vatican's 25% share in the company, which will give him controlling interests. Okay, so this is a very wealthy family, and what it reminded me of is the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds actually did buy a lot of the Vatican's debt, and you can actually look that up yourself. And that is something that when I read this, I thought about immediately. And sometimes with movies, you know, I know that this is a movie that's based on fiction, not fact, and I get that. Just like a lot of movies in Hollywood are just for entertainment purposes. But the interesting thing about Hollywood is that it's so heavily infiltrated by the cabal and by the Illuminati that, and I hate to use that word, but it is what it is. But they're so heavily infiltrated by that agenda that a lot of times they will put out what they're doing or what they have done. And sometimes it's because they believe it will give them more power, but sometimes I feel that it's just because they're bragging about what they've done to us. And so the Rothschilds bought some of the Vatican's debt and in real life, and I think that is something that Q wanted us to understand. So the debt was bought, and it says 1832. And I just found this on Wikipedia. Rothschild loans to the Holy See refers to a series of major financial loans arranged between the Rothschild family and the Holy See of the Catholic Church. The first loan, which occurred in 1832, took place in the aftermath of the Napoleonic Wars during the pontificate of Pope Gregory, involving James Mayer de Rothschild and Karl Mayer von Rothschild. So now, if you think about that, what implications does that have on the Vatican? And have they paid that loan back? Probably not. So if the Vatican has not paid back that loan, wouldn't you think that the Vatican would be at some degree taking orders from the Rothschilds? And when the Rothschilds give you a loan, because they don't give a loan just to any Joe Schmo, okay? When everything they do is very strategic, and it's to secure something for them. It's to secure some sort of position for their family and for the cabal. So the fact that the Vatican still owes the Rothschilds so much money and will never be able to pay them back fully, that indicates to me that the Vatican is probably run by Rothschilds to some degree, and is heavily infiltrated and influenced by the Rothschilds' agenda. And if you don't know what that agenda is, I would recommend looking into that. SGT report on YouTube, and also Twitter, but I love to watch their YouTube videos. SGT Report can really give you a great insight into the Rothschilds family and their wealth, and understanding that the wealth that they make public is not their actual wealth, and their wealth is actually not really truly made public, but it's way higher than what you will see in whatever news article. And also, there's a YouTuber named Really Graceful that has done some really great exposés on the Rothschilds as well. So that's the information that I gleaned from the whole Godfather 3 movie. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the symbolism that I have found. And the first thing I'm going to do is jump into Baroness Philippine de Rothschild. She was born in 1933 to Philip de Rothschild, who is one of the Rothschild brothers, and they live in France. So there's Rothschilds all over the world. If you look up the history of the Rothschilds, they originated in Germany, and the sons of, I think it was Mayor de Rothschild, but I could be wrong. The sons of the original Rothschild, they went all over the world. They went to Germany, they went to England, they went to France, just all over the world. And the purpose of that was to spread their influence and gain as much wealth as they could, and to start infiltrating royal families and being able to control and start wars to make money. But anyway, I'm not going to go into all that. This is Philippine de Rothschild. Okay, so she's now dead. She passed away in 2014, but she's a very, very wealthy woman. And when I started to do my research into Y head or yak head, and now that also includes goat and rams, okay? When I started to do my research, the first thing I did was I started to look at the jewelry and the clothing of mainly women that belong to these elite families or maybe celebrities, and just to see what I could find, okay? And I found a lot. So this is a necklace that is worn by Philippine de Rothschild, and you'll notice as I look through the different pictures, it's all, some of the necklaces are the same necklaces over and over again, just, a couple, she wears the same necklace sometimes, multiple times, but to different events, but some of them are different, and I find that very interesting that a woman of her wealth would wear such an, I don't mean to be rude, but it's such an ugly necklace. I mean, think about the wealthy women that you have seen in Hollywood or, royalty. I mean, they wear very elegant, simple jewelry, typically. Sometimes a little bit more elaborate. Maybe, sometimes you see some really beautiful tribal jewelry or some different pieces from, different ethnicities. But to me, a wealthy woman like her could have anything. She could wear anything. And she chooses to wear this, okay? Now, the first thing that I want to point out here is you do see the ram's head right away. And I'm saying ram instead of yak because the horns kind of curl in a little bit, but it's basically the same thing, okay? And the representation of the yak head, goat head, ram head has to do with serving deities, okay? So my assumption is that this woman is a Satanist. And I understand how that sounds. It sounds crazy, okay? But there are a lot more Satanists out there than you would think. And even if you're an atheist or agnostic, like I used to be, which is totally cool, you may not believe that this stuff is real, but they do. They believe that these deities give them power and that's why they worship them. So it doesn't matter if you think it's fake. They think it's real, okay? Just remember that. And it's okay to still think it's fake. You can still believe that all that stuff is fake, but to understand that they believe in this stuff and they do worship these deities, okay? So the representation of the yak head, the goat head, the ram head, that's all representing the same type of deities, like Baphomet and like some other very similar deities. Something else to notice is that it's a gold necklace, and gold is a very important material to them. It's a very important, it's very important in symbolism, because with gold, and you can look up all the different meanings for that, but just to hone in on one thing, it's the symbolism of illumination that they really like. It makes them, of course, it's a symbol of their wealth and their power, but it really is important to them to have gold, to be surrounded by gold, because it represents illumination for them. So we have this necklace right here, and you're going to see some other pictures scattered throughout. I will eventually get to them, but I'm really going to concentrate on this woman here. Now we're going to go to the top here. Here we have another one of these necklaces, and it's a bigger necklace. It's much less subtle than the last. It has this huge face representing one of those deities that she worships. You have her children in the background here. They're at some sort of event. Okay. Now we have her at a party. This is a very blurry photo, so I do apologize, but you can tell she's wearing it again. We also have her in this picture right here with another one of those ram head necklaces. Okay, I'm gonna go down here. This is like some sort of brooch that she had, and I'm assuming that all this jewelry is custom made, because who on earth would sell this garbage? Another ram necklace there, and we already saw that. Here's another one. This is an older picture of her. Now, I found this to be kind of strange. When you look at this to me just looks like some sort of strange deity. It's not a ram head, yak head, goat head, but it is looking to be some sort of strange deity that she may worship. Okay. Now, the picture on the left here, and actually I think that I have a better... Okay. This image right here on the left, that to me looks like Satan. And when I told you that she was a Satanist, I didn't just say it based on these necklaces, these ram necklaces that she wears, because when I first started doing my research, I didn't really understand what the yak head or the ram head meant. I didn't really understand what that was all about until I researched and I understood what it represents. But then as soon as I saw this image, this necklace that she has of Satan, what represents Satan, I just was so blown away, and I knew right away who she was and what she was all about. You know, if you're wearing a necklace like that, I mean, this is not like a Halloween party or something. This is an event for wealthy people that she is at. And she's flashing that symbolism right out there. It's just so blatant too. I mean, how do you not see that that is Satan? So, you know, based on that, and then you look at these other strange necklaces that she wears. Now, someone had already done this research that you see right here with the Baphomet. And what it's just showing you is where it says Baphomet with the horns and everything, that's the actual symbol of a Satanist that worships that deity. And you can see how similar that is to her necklaces that she wears. And the necklaces that other people wear too. Okay, so that's Baroness de Rothschild. I have a lot of other things that I'm going to show you. I do want to show you this. This is, as Q would call him, Hussein, on the right. And we have Hussein on the left too. Now, I don't know, nobody knows, we know he's in Chicago. We can see some, well, probably in Chicago. We don't really know for sure. Because the gentleman is wearing a jacket that says Chicago, but that's also where he did a lot of his supposed community work and things like that. But that headdress, if this is a real photo, and I'm not saying it is because I don't know for sure, because nobody can really trace the origins of this photo, but if it is, like, let's just say it's a costume party, okay? Let's say it's Halloween and he's at some sort of event where he has to wear a costume. It's a very interesting choice for a costume. You have the horns coming up, and that is a yak horn. This strange headdress, which is representing different, I think it's representing a goddess, actually. Not a god, but a goddess. And this mask that he has over his face. So that's all I'm going to say there. Take it for what you will, but I find it very interesting. If you've never seen that before, it's very interesting to see. Then we have some Beyonce jewelry here. We have, I think that the jewelry here, and some of this might seem like a stretch to you, but I point out everything that I see that could be possibly representing this yak head symbolism. So the jewelry that she's wearing, that to me, the curved part of her jewelry that's in her ear and curves around, that looks like a yak horn to me. Or a ram horn. Not a ram horn, but more like a yak horn, I would say. Then you have the face of Baphomet. And the style of the bike, the bike, I guess you would call it like the handles that she's just holding, because this is just handles that she's holding. But it's a lot of Baphomet symbolism. You have the Baphomet at the top in silver, and then you have it in the color there with the red and the blue and the white and everything. And the actual shape of the mirrors coming up by her neck, jutting out from her shoulders, that is more symbolism. Yak head on the motorcycle. Find that very interesting. And it may be bull horns, I don't know for sure, but bull horns, yak horns, it's all representing those deities that I talked about. This is a yak head necklace. It's a little bit blurry, so I do apologize, but its origins are Tibetan, and a lot of celebrities like to wear things like that. So you have some celebrities that love wearing the yak head, or the yak bone, the yak bone necklaces. Here's some more yak bone necklaces, and they might not be actual yak bone, but they're shaped like it. And some people are very blatant in their symbolism, like Baroness de Rothschild, and some people are a little bit more subtle in their symbolism and what they like to put out there. Everyone's different. Then you have this. Okay, so this was a video game that I personally was playing, and I came across this character that you can choose to be. And of course, you know, the name of this character is Dark Prince, so that's Satan. It's a winged creature with glowing red eyes and a gold necklace. I mean, you can't get more blatant about this stuff. I just don't understand why they needed to use this in a children's video game, but that's fine. I mean, it's for adults too, obviously. I was playing it, but children play it as well. And those horns, of course. Then we have Madonna at a music awards thing. I don't even know what this was for. I don't know if it was MTV Music Awards or what, but the mask I find very interesting. It reminds me a lot of that costume that Hussein was wearing, and the face mask, that glittering color, and that that coloring with the shiny metals and stuff, that kind of reminds me of it could represent a demon's face, or it could just represent with the shining the shiny features with the little, stones that are in it, rhinestones or whatever they are, it could represent elimination. And of course, they're all wearing the yak horns. Very, very obvious here. So they're all wearing these yak horns. And they're kind of down in a submissive pose, almost like they're kind of worshiping Madonna. Here we have another one of those yak bone necklaces. It's just the shape of the yak bone. It's not actually yak bone, but and this actress is also wearing an all-seeing eye. So I found that to be quite interesting. I circled the yak bone that's around Madonna's neck. I don't know why she's wearing it. I don't understand what that's all about and how that's cute or sexy or whatever, but it's really weird, and it's very obviously some horns. It's just going to get more and more obvious and crazy, guys. So here you have this singer, and I'm not going to mention the names of these people. You know who they are. Okay. Now, she is a once again, very wealthy woman, very beautiful woman. She could wear anything. Why does she choose to wear something with a ram's head or whatever type of animal this is? It looks like Baphomet, okay? If you compare that to the actual symbol, it looks exactly like that. Why would she choose to embroider her outfit with this symbol? I don't understand that. She does. She wears beautiful clothing a lot, but this is a performance. This is not just every day, okay? And they choose these type of outfits in their performances because it is a ritual. Their performances for them is their time to do their rituals. And you're going to see a lot of these performers wearing pieces that have the symbolism on them, wearing jewelry, just like this here. It's them doing a ritual. Okay, now, this is a new TV show. It's called The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. It's on Netflix. And when I saw this, I immediately noticed the horns, okay? It's not like the old school show in the 90s with, Melissa Joan Hart or whatever her name was, where it was like the cutesy little witch show, kind of like Bewitched or whatever. No, if you watch this, it is utterly terrifying. And I didn't watch any of it because I really just don't care to. But, of course, you see this deity here, which is Baphomet. And these are witches, and I don't know what the men call themselves, maybe witches too, or warlocks or wizards, whatever. But they're worshiping this deity. And when you watch things like Harry Potter or Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the original from the 90s, or Bewitched, you're never going to see deities like this. You will never see this. But this is actually what witches and warlocks, what they actually do and who they actually worship. It's not just the cutesy stuff that you see, you know, in the movies and the cute little, you know, Harry Potter movies and things like that. They're showing you who they actually are and what they actually do. All right. So this is just like a little taste of who they are, what they do. I think in one of the episodes, Sabrina, as a rite of passage, actually has to perform some rituals on an innocent young person, which is horrible. And actually, if you look up this TV show, there are a lot of people that are very angry about this TV show coming out. And it's not who you think. It's actually the Church of Satan and who is the other faction? Some kind of other Satanist cult. They're very upset because apparently this show is showing the Church of Satan in a negative light. Okay? I mean, that I don't understand, because isn't that their whole shtick? Like, isn't that their thing? Being negative, being evil? So why are they upset about that? They're upset because this is exposing who they really are and what they really do and what they're really about. They try to tell you that it's just all fun and games, and no, we don't really worship the devil. We're not really out there doing human sacrifices and killing people or putting curses on people. We don't actually do that. That's just for fun. That's just an old, you know, like an old wives' tale that Satanists do things like that. No, it's real. These people really do that stuff. Whether or not they achieve what they want to achieve, I don't know. I can't say. I've never seen it firsthand, but they believe it's real. Then we have Bette Midler. Okay, I'm wearing her whatever costume this is. Now I know with the Day of the Dead, a lot of people dress up in these elaborate costumes and they wear a lot of different things that, you know, kind of represent the dead, like, you know, different, like, things like skulls and you know, the bones and things like that. What I don't understand is why she needed to throw in the horns like that, the devil horns, the yak horns. I just didn't get why that needed to be thrown in there. And you'll also see here a white rabbit. Why the heck is that in there? The white rabbit on the yak horns. Very interesting. Very interesting choice. And you can tell she's trying to make it random enough that things like that would go unnoticed. You know, she's trying to make it random with the starfish and the, you know, the skull, but also the feathers and the butterfly and the seaweed coming out. And it seems like she's trying to make it random enough that you won't notice the horns and the white rabbit. But we all know what that's about. And Bette Midler has been one of the most outspoken people that have come out against our current president. And you can tell who she's siding with right now. She doesn't, obviously, she's one of those people that she, you know, like Barbara Streisand and who's the other person? Meryl Streep. Those three, they all seem to be kind of on the same train, on the same kind of not wanting some of these indictments to go through. So I saw this as I was doing my Bette Midler research. I saw this online and I just thought it was worth showing and mentioning. This is a yak, and of course on top of its head is a butterfly. And if you don't already understand what the butterfly means, butterflies can represent a couple of different things in the occult, but one of them is the use in pedophilia. And the other thing that the butterfly is used in is the Project Monarch mind control. So I wanted to mention that. And I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any. Oh yeah, I did. So I understand that this actress was on a movie set. This is a costume, obviously, from one of her movies. But I thought it was interesting that they threw in, they had her wear a piece of jewelry that had the ram set in it. I just don't understand why that would ever need to be in jewelry like that. So I wanted to throw that out there. And I'm gonna just go back up to the top here. And the last thing that I wanted to show you, this is a tunnel, the opening of a tunnel in Switzerland for CERN. CERN is an organization in Switzerland that has the large Hadron Collider. And this ceremony was done in Switzerland at CERN's tunnel opening ceremony. At a tunnel opening ceremony, this presentation took place, and of course you have that demon deity that these people worship. All these people are down on bent knee worshiping this demon. If you don't know anything about this ceremony, by the way, it's quite bizarre. I would take some time to look that up. It's really strange. Just look up ceremony tunnel opening at CERN, and you'll be able to find all the information you need on that. But it was quite a spectacle and very bizarre. Lots and lots of symbolism. I mean, it was loaded with satanic symbolism. So that's it for the Y head symbolism. I'm going to get into doing an owl symbolism video. So if you are interested in subscribing, just hit the subscribe button and click that little bell so you get notifications of my next video. And if you like the video, press like. And if you're interested in the material, please subscribe. Thank you.